Okay guys, hello, here we are, as promised with the next video. I have my glasses on, and look people, seriously, I must love you guys a lot because I am actually wearing mascara and I'm wearing a little tiny bit of tinted lip balm stuff. I have not worn makeup literally since, well, not since the accident, since I left work. In October of 2015, because I've really just been at home and going to endless rounds of doctor's appointments and treatments, and I really don't think a whole lot of fucks are given whether I'm wearing makeup or not. And when I did work, I did used to, I'm not looking at the lens, am I? Hello? When I did work, I really just wore a little bit of mascara. I am by no means a girly girl at all. So yeah, feel flattered, guys. I got all dressed up for you. Anyway, okay, so trusted roll of toilet paper in hand, and we have Timmy's, and we're good to go. Cheers. Okay, so this video is going to be all about the accident. This is going to be an ugly one. There's going to be a lot of tears. By the way, this is waterproof mascara, just in case you're wondering why did she put it on if she's going to cry. So I guess we'll start at the beginning of that day. So it was May 25th, 2015. It was one day after our first wedding anniversary. And isn't that how everyone celebrates? By nearly getting killed in a car accident. So I didn't nearly get killed. I could have easily been killed. So that morning was just a Monday morning like any other. It was bright and sunny. It was an absolutely gorgeous day out. I got up, had my shower, made my brekkie, and hopped aboard my truck, and off I went to work. So where I was working at the time doing home care is about an hour to an hour and a half from home one way. And you do get paid, extra if you're willing to drive that kind of distance. And it really didn't bother me because, as I said before, prior to all of this, I loved driving. So for me to make that drive was not a biggie. So I had been to my first client, been to my second client, and was on my way to my next client, who was a palliative client that I had 4 hours a day, every day. And I was on my way to her house. So I had come down. The funny thing is that I had just started taking this new route. I was going all the way back into the little village. Again, I don't want to get too name placey and not too much information about where I actually live, although I'm pretty sure most of you watching this know where I live. But the wee little village that where I was working around, I was driving all the way from my second client all the way back into the village, and then all the way back out to my third client. And my third client's husband had said to me one day, "Why are you driving all the way back into town and then back out here? The road that you're coming from comes out just up here, just up from our house." And I said, "Really?" I didn't know that. I knew the area well enough, but not really well enough. All the little back roads up here all interconnect somehow. If you take this road, you'll end up somehow where you're going. And I didn't realize that road connected that way. And he said, well, I wouldn't recommend that you ever try to do it in the winter time, because that end of that road can be quite nasty in the winter. But now it's, it's late May, and it's gorgeous, and it's spring, it's almost summer. And the roads, pardon me, the roads are, nice. So just about a week prior to the accident, I had started coming that way, and it did cut, some of my travel time off, and was, quite a bit more convenient. And the funny part of it is, and funny, not funny, haha, funny, weird, is that had I been taking my old route, I would have been making a right onto the road where the accident happened rather than a left, and it wouldn't have happened. Had she been on that road at the same time, at the same moment, she would have whizzed past, and I would have went, wow, where's the fire? And made my right-hand turn, and I would have went on about my day and on about my life. So what had happened was as I said, I was leaving my second client and going to my palliative client, and I was just gonna make the turn down her road. So I'm on it's not a highway by any means. It's not a dirt road. It's kind of an in-between, right? I was on that road. It is sorry guys, for some reason I'm just stiff as hell today. Sorry, losing my right hand again. Where was I? Okay, so the road that I was on is an 80 kilometer an hour posted road. And let's be honest, I mean, you're kind of out in the back of the middle ass end of nowhere, and everybody's going 90 and, better. And, myself I would probably have been going 85, 90, on that road myself, because that was before the accident. And if you're going 80 and an 80, you're kind of holding up traffic, So, but anyways, that being said, I mean, I was never one for, let's go $120 and, whatever. But anyway, so I had come to a complete stop, to make my left-hand turn, foot on the brake, left hand, signal indicator on. And as I said in an earlier video, I was driving my SUV, 2003 Ford Escape. So, I loved my truck so much. I loved my truck. And it's a bigger, heavier, SUV. So, pardon me. So I was sitting there waiting to make my turn, and I couldn't because there was oncoming traffic. And my memory gets a bit fuzzy here in the number of vehicles that were headed towards me. I think it was 3, but it may have been 4. And I think when I think about it, when I try to, picture it in my mind, it was sort of 3 that are like immediate, right there. And then maybe a space of like 2 car lengths and a 4th car, which I mean, that's just the way I am. I would have waited for that 4th car. I'm not going to give her and try to, swing in there and get T-boned, because then you're just an idiot, and you deserve it. So anyway, so I had come to a complete full stop. As I said, I know I'm repeating myself, guys. I'm really sorry. This is one of the things that I do now. Foot on the brake, left-hand indicator, waiting for the oncoming traffic to clear. Beautiful, bright, sunny day. When I had made my right-hand turn onto the road that I was on, that I'm now sitting on at a dead stop, I had, of course, looked to my left to see if there was anything coming in order to make my right. And there is a long, like, I mean, you've got to be able to see for at least a good kilometer. It's all farmland back there. So a long stretch of road. And there was not a soul to be seen. I mean, you got to take into consideration, this is about 12:30 on a Monday during the day. So really no traffic, right? So whatever, made my right, came to where I was. So I'm sitting there waiting for this traffic to clear. The one thing looking back on now, when you're going to make that left-hand turn and you have your wheel is slightly cocked to the left a tad in anticipation of the turn, or you're going to make a right-hand turn and your wheel is sort of cocked slightly to the right in anticipation of that right turn. Don't ask me why. For some reason, that day I had both hands on the wheel. The wheel was completely straight, so my tires were completely straight. A lot of times I wouldn't have both hands on the wheel. Back then I was a smoker. I probably would have had, one hand up here and the other hand on a smoke, For some reason I was like this. I don't know why. And all I remember now is I heard the squeal of brakes, tires, whatever you want to say. I just heard a big, really loud screech, like just out of this world loud. And I'm sorry, I'm digressing again, guys. My brain is just today. So it's a T where I'm going to turn. It's not, this road only goes this way, right? The road that I'm on goes this way and this way. So To the right of me is no road. It's a farmer's field, and there's quite a deep, I don't really want to call it an embankment, but it is quite a deep ditch, probably about 30 feet, to be honest with you, down into just, a farmer's field. And of course, to my left is the oncoming traffic. So the only thing I really have to look at is a farmer's field, this oncoming traffic, and the road where I'm going to turn down here in a sec. So I'm sitting there waiting to make my turn, and I hear this big loud screech of tires, and everything in front of me is fine. There's, where is this coming from? It just, that instant reaction. And clearly the only place it can be coming from is, I'm not looking at the lens again, am I, guys? I'm sorry. I'm so bad. The only place that it can be coming from is behind me. So in that moment, I looked up into my rearview mirror, and I think I managed to get out. Oh, fuck! And it was done. When I looked up into the rearview mirror, all I saw was windshield. That was it. Windshield. I didn't see the hood of her car, couldn't see like the front, the grill or the headlights or anything. All I saw was windshield. So yeah, so she was going, I mean, it's never really, I don't think, been really documented exactly how fast she was going when she hit me, but when I called 911, I told them that she was going at least 80 when she hit me. There's a bit of a curve to the road, and you come down it's a small, long, slow curve, and then a long, slow sort of, downgrade if you're coming that direction. She came around that corner. I mean, it's not a sharp bend by any stretch of the means. It's, you certainly have time if you came whipping around that bend and saw somebody to, stop. But she was going too fast. So when I called 911, I told them that she had hit me, that I'd just been hit rear-ended by a car going at least 80 kilometers an hour when it made contact, and me at a dead full stop. So her car went under the back of my truck and shoved me about 30 to 40 feet down the road. And I came to rest quite neatly on the right shoulder of the road. Literally, it's almost comical now when you think of it. As if I had purposefully pulled over and parked there. And, you think back now, and she had hit me just, if your license plate is the dead center of the back of your vehicle, she had hit me just slightly to the left of center, which shoved me, slightly off to the right and had me, come to rest on the right-hand shoulder. Like it's a gravel shoulder. It's a, dirt road, like I said, or a country road rather. So had she hit me any further, sorry guys, if she had hit me any further to the right than what she did, she would have sent my truck careening down over that, embankment. And as I said, it's about 30 feet. So I'm pretty convinced. I mean, it's an SUV, so it's a bit on the top heavy side, maybe. I'm pretty convinced that my truck would have rolled or flipped end over end down into that farmer's field, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now, not looking into the lens, making this video. So, had she hit me, and had my wheel been cocked to the right, as I said about, how you have your wheel cocked one way or the other in anticipation of making a turn, I wasn't making a right, so my wheel wouldn't have been cocked to the right. But had my wheel been, unbeknownst to me, a little cocked to the right, I wasn't paying attention, again, I would have went right down over that embankment. And if I hadn't been killed, I certainly would have been much, much more seriously hurt. I mean, if your truck is going to go flip, 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 it's, you're probably getting a broken neck. So, but anyhow, that didn't happen, thank God. And even more frightening is, again, your license plate being the center of the back of your vehicle. Had she hit me more to the left of center, she would have shoved me directly into oncoming traffic. So it probably wouldn't have just been me. There were, as I say, 3, perhaps 4 cars coming in my direction. and or traveling in the opposite direction. It certainly would have been myself, the first car in line, perhaps a car behind that, perhaps a car behind that. I mean, it would have caused a 5 to 6 car pile up. There's me, there's her, there's those 3 cars, and then perhaps even the 4th one, because it was only maybe 2 car lengths or so, I think, behind. Wouldn't have had time to respond. We probably slammed on his brakes, but he probably still would have ended up in the pile up. So it could have got real ugly for a lot of people, not just she and I. So wet me whistle. I'm gonna need some Timmies for this part. Yep. So getting my Kleenex ready. As I say, my car came to rest quite neatly on the right side of the road. I think I bailed out of my truck before it had even come to, to a full stop. My first thought was that the people in that car are dead. There's no way. There's no, you can't. She might as well have hit a brick wall. I mean, she was in a smaller, older model. I'm not going to say what type of car, but a foreign-made car, older model, small, low to the ground, you know. And as I said, went right under my truck and right up, like basically to her windshield, went under the truck. And my first thought, my only thought was that the people in that car are dead. There's no way. There's no way. I'm sitting dead still, and I'm a lot bigger than you are, and you just hit me going that speed and went underneath me, so I'm thinking the person's dead. So I bailed out of my truck. I think as it was just, you know, coming to a stop, there might have been a half a rotation of tire left, and I was getting out. And making my way back to the driver's side door of this car that is